What's up, everybody? 𝐃𝐑𝐿 and another episode of the Northeast Georgia Real Estate Podcast. I'm excited. I got a new guest for us today, and something that's not only involved in the real estate industry, but I got some additional stuff for you. I'm with Shannon Conradi. She's a title rep with Society Title in Florida, and she also has a pretty exciting modeling background and health journey that you definitely don't want to miss. Welcome, first-time guests and loyal listeners to the Northeast Georgia Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, 𝐃𝐑𝐿, and I'm here to guide you through the real estate landscape across our region. Whether you're a buyer, seller, investor, or just plain curious, this podcast is going to be your go-to source for local insights. We explore real estate trends, economic forecasts, and highlight local businesses. You can expect expert interviews and valuable discussions to help you make informed decisions in the Northeast Georgia property market. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy this crazy journey into the real estate market together. So Shannon, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a Friday, so I know the weekend is close, so I'm very excited for my weekend plans. How about you?
Absolutely. Yeah, everything's going good for us here in Georgia. I'm just ready for this pollen to get out of here. Luckily, we've had some storms and we're on the back end of it, hopefully.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
So tell me, get me and the audience caught up a little bit. Like, who are you? How'd you get into this business? And, what is it that you do?
Yeah, so I'm originally born and raised in Winchester, Virginia. It's a super small town girl over here. Never thought I was going to leave Virginia. And then I ended up moving to Annapolis, Maryland for like a year and a half and realized this isn't the state I want to live in. So I moved to Florida and I started out as a mortgage recruiter. So I was recruiting loan officers and kind of got to know the background of the mortgage industry. And then I realized I was working 60 plus hours a week. I didn't really have a work-life balance. And then I interviewed for this title role and I had 3 interviews and crushed them all and got into the title world. And I love it. It's been great. I get to meet new people every day from all over the world and just really build great lasting relationships.
Well, that's good stuff. It sounds like it's been pretty rewarding up to this point. So
Absolutely.
with the title business, so most individuals, if they've bought or sold a house, at least I know here in the state of Georgia, that's where I'm licensed, along with South Carolina as well. So we're attorney states. And so what that means is most closings, if not all closings, are handled at an attorney's office. And most of the time, title is usually ran through those attorneys' offices. And my understanding and perception of this, and feel free to expand on this in any way, shape, or form that you like, is it just ensures that what you're buying is actually what you're buying and there's not any additional ownership ties to it. Can you jump into that a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. So as for me, an example, I'm very much an example person. So title insurance to me is essentially if me and you are neighbors, Jake, and you hop on to my property and you're like, hey, Shannon, that shed is mine. And I pull out my title insurance and I'm like, Jake, it's actually mine. It's a chain of ownership. So it's essentially, I've showed you the documents, the paperwork. So that's where I am. That's my property, essentially. And as for attorney states, so my company is licensed to close in 18 states. We are in the Carolinas, we are in Maine, Georgia, a ton of attorney states. We actually partner with a law firm for closings. They will be in person with the attorney for the closings. As for Florida, attorneys are not required, but some people like to use them for their closings. So on those closings, they will have the attorneys present. But typically in Florida, we just do remote closings and people are very happy with that. So
Yeah, it's good stuff. I know, at least here in Georgia, it's super simple, whether utilizing one of your services or just one of the kind of the in-house services. Like knowing that you have that title insurance is super important because if that wasn't there, like imagine buying a piece of property and then finding out a couple of years later that there's like two cousins twice removed from 50 years ago that they all of a sudden try to say that they have some kind of ownership claim in that property. And so really what the entire title process does is to remove that doubt. So you can say, hey, what you're buying is in fact yours and nobody has any other claims to it.
absolutely, absolutely. I love that.
Yeah, so it's super important because I have seen some very tricky situations where you don't have clear and marketable title on properties. Or here in the state of Georgia, I know that like you're not, it's illegal to actually have like a landlocked piece of property. And so, like, as people over the last couple hundreds of years have like divided property and split things up, there might not be a recorded easement and you have to get access. And then well, this isn't in fact actually owned by you, so it can be a very, very convoluted process. So I highly recommend that anybody that's buying anything, make sure you guys go through the title process.
I always
So
say too, like, if you're going to buy a car, are you going to buy that car and drive around uninsured? No, because that's going to cause issues. So that's the same thing with title insurance. It is always advised to have title insurance. That's so important in the process. So I use that car analogy and it works very great. So
good stuff. So through not only the title side of the business that you're in, let's dive into like your modeling career that you have. Can you explain or talk about that a little bit more in depth?
yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite things to talk about. So I started modeling when I was 16 years old. I wish my parents would have started me out when I was younger, but they were like, Shannon, it's not really a good world to get into. And, once you get to the legal age of 18, you can make your own decisions. So I started modeling. I was doing runway, commercial modeling, high fashion, boutique modeling. Actually, recently I modeled for the Sports Illustrated Christy Brinkley back in the 90s. I was in her runway show and it was phenomenal. I got to runway her new collection, Tower Hill. It is out, by the way, guys, just so you know. And recently, this is huge. The world doesn't know this, but I recently applied for Sports Illustrated. It's always been a dream of mine. I played college basketball, I did college swimming. So that was really huge for me. I submitted a 1 minute video and then a couple of headshots, and I told my story. And to dive a little into my health story, in 2022, I started experiencing grand mal seizures. I was in flight school to be a flight attendant because that was kind of the direction I was going to go into. And I was with Delta, and 5 weeks into the 6 week program, I had a grand mal seizure, kind of push it off because I was like, I'm an athlete, I can accomplish anything kind of thing, push it off. And then I went to another flight school and I had another seizure. And I was driving to my sister's house on Boynton Beach Boulevard in Florida, and I crossed 3 lanes of traffic, hit a pole, woke up to like 8 firefighters. They're like, "Do you know what happened?" And I was like, "No." So we ended up talking about it. I went to the hospital, got on seizure medication, and then I've had 13 grand mal seizures. And that's essentially what my Sports Illustrated story was about, just how I've become kind of an epilepsy advocate into people having seizures because a lot of people don't want to talk about it. It's an invisible illness. You can't tell if people have it. So I just want to be that advocate that helps people because I am now a year seizure free due to all the products and how I've been eating. And that's why I tied it into my modeling journey because I think it's really huge that people advocate for the epilepsy community. And I wanted to bring that into my modeling. So fingers crossed. Hopefully, I will win Sports Illustrated 2026 as the cover. So, yeah,
Well, I'll definitely keep an eye out for you on that and good luck on that journey. So,
thank
with the
you.
grandma seizures, is there anything that you have found since all that has happened that like led into that or caused it? And then also with kind of everything you've done, where you mentioned you've changed your diet and maybe some of the medication, has that potentially put all of that to the side, or is it still a possibility to continue to happen, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so definitely. So, after I went to the hospital and they gave me medicine, they put me on Keppra. The generic name is levetiracetam. Um, I'm an athlete. They were like, you have seizures, they're gonna have this for the rest of your life. And I was like, okay, there's got to be more. You guys are only telling me I'm gonna have seizures for the rest of my life and put me on a medicine. So I went into functional medicine where they find the root cause. And I did a hair, saliva, nail test, and they found out that I had a parasite in my brain, mold, mercury, and Lyme bacteria. So that was all triggering seizures. So the Lyme bacteria, I'm from Virginia, a tick, I guess, got into my bloodstream. And parasites can be from a dog licking you to anything and everything. And the mold I was exposed to in my old apartment, and the mercury is from eating too much tuna fish. So be careful, guys. Don't eat a lot of tuna. Um, But that was essentially the root cause, and I switched my diet. I don't eat gluten, dairy, or soy. I know it's a lot, but I truly believe your diet can really heal certain things that you go through in the health world. So I've switched over my products, my makeup, my soaps. I used to be blonde. I had to stop dyeing my hair because I was having brain issues like seizures. So I just went with my natural color, and I've had to make a lot of adjustments, but that's the reason I'm seizure free is because I take my body very seriously and what I put into my body. So that's why I'm a year seizure free. And it's definitely a journey, but I'm strong, and my dad was a Marine, so I have a great mindset, and that's what's making me successful.
Well, I'm super proud of the fact that you've had that year seizure free. I mean, that's a huge milestone, and congratulations on that. And like I said
Thank you.
before, definitely we're going to keep an eye out for the 2026 Sports Illustrated cover. So obviously, everything that was seizure related, I mean, those are huge challenges that it'd be difficult for almost anybody to get through that. But can you speak to any other challenges that you've received or that you've been through, and how you were able to get through those?
Challenges. Well, I feel like I just need to be in bubble wrap. Another challenge that I had when I was 14, my dad and I, we lived in Virginia, 5 acres. We were sideswiped by a car on a motorcycle. And my dad, there was a cliff or a rock bank. My dad went for the rock bank, and the motorcycle literally fell on my femur. I should have bled to death. I ended up breaking it on the growth plate. They're like, you're not going to grow. I ended up coming back 2 years later, and I'm 5'10". So obviously I healed. So that was really great. And then, as I said, I was a collegiate athlete. My senior year of high school, I ended up tearing my ACL. And I had D1 looks, and it was really upsetting. But, I've said before, I'm determined to figure out, alternative ways to play basketball. So I ended up playing college basketball for 2 years at a D2 school, and it went amazing. I was a walk on, didn't think I was going to make it, but the coaches loved me and loved my endurance and my athleticism. So went really far. I would say those are two really challenging things. And then obviously the grand mal seizures, but I just want to help people. I want to help them with their health, their lifestyle, because I know a lot of people who they have health issues, and sometimes the doctor just gives you medicine and they're like, okay, just take this medicine for the rest of your life. And it's like, what is causing it? That's what we need to figure out, is what is causing the actual issue. What is the root cause? How can we fix it? And that's what I did. So I think with all the things that I've been through, my injuries and also having grand mal seizures, there's a way to heal your body. It takes time. It took me 2 years. I lost my driver's license for 2 years, guys, and I just got it back. And that's a huge deal. So I'm very thankful that I'm on this journey. I know that it's tough to go through something like this, but I promise there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't see it in the beginning. And once I was seizure free for a year, I was like, okay, I'm doing something right. So just words of encouragement.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think that speaks for itself. And normally I transition into, what are some of the successes that you found over your career? But I think you wound up covering them exactly in that same statement. So it's super powerful and very inspiring.
Thank you.
Um, so if you were at the beginning of your journey and you had the ability to speak to yourself then, is there anything that stands out in your mind that you would potentially tell yourself as far as like, don't give up, or, you're going to make it through this? Or is there anything that you've said to yourself over these years that you're like, man, if I would have known this or been able to tell this to myself at the beginning, it would have just helped out tremendously?
Absolutely. So growing up, my dad was a Marine and CIA, and I started on the basketball court at age 6. I think that's why I was super successful in basketball. I did travel basketball in AAU. I actually played at a ton of Georgia colleges, which was exciting. And also, I just think that he instilled in my grown-up life, going through epilepsy and seizures, it's all mental, Shannon. And that's something I wish I would have known early on in life, because your mind controls everything. It's a huge, powerful tool. And he always told me through text messages and phone calls, just remember, it's all mindset. Mindset is everything, Shannon. So I wish I would have had that key, but now I have it, so I can help other people with it. But it's mindset is everything. Mind over matter. So that's what I
Yeah,
would tell myself.
I couldn't agree more. How you perceive the world is usually how you get to experience the world. That's one of the
Absolutely.
things that I repeat to my kids on a regular basis. And I look at that as like they're not listening to me now, so I probably have to say it a couple hundred more times until it starts to soak in.
And that's the thing is like looking back at my childhood, I was like, Dad, you're so hard on me. Like, why are you always making me do lessons for school and certain things in life? And now I look back, I wouldn't be the woman I am today if it wasn't for my dad's training. So he definitely led me to be the woman I am today and never give up and be strong and be powerful in everything you do in life, in your job, with your families. Just really work hard because when you work hard, you succeed.
Yeah, I mean, how you do anything is it turns out to be how you do everything. So it sounds like you had a fantastic role model in Semper Fi for your dad too.
Thank you. I love veterans.
So how do you wind up with everything that you got going on, whether it's on the modeling side, whether it's being a title rep for society? How do you balance your work and personal life or other interests that you have?
Great question. I'm a workaholic. I don't like to give up. So I obviously work closely with realtors and loan officers whenever they have open houses in South Florida. I like to sponsor them. So technically on the weekends, I'm still working. I'm trying to be better about that. Make sure that I'm doing things for myself. I love doing Pilates. I'm able to work out again. So that's another really great thing. Playing basketball, pick up basketball sometimes with people. Really trying to work on that work-life balance thing. It is a bit of a struggle currently, but I am going to try and just put my phone to the side. But it's hard when you have, title deals going on. Your clients want updates, and I just want to make sure I'm there for them. So I still will have my phone and respond to them, but I think I just need to really schedule on the weekends. Hey, I'm going to take time for myself and also just balance out my life because I do have my puppy who I like to spend time with. And I feel like that's something I could do on the weekends as well, or go to the beach because I live 8 minutes from the beach. So definitely something I need to work on, Jake, but we'll get there.
It's always fascinating to me, all of my friends and other acquaintances across the world that like live close to the beach and they rarely go to the beach.
That's me, literally. When I work from home, I'm like, I could be sitting at the beach working from home, but I don't want to because I'm like, I have to focus. Because when you're at the
Yeah.
beach, all you want to do is put your laptop to the side, put your toes in the sand, and just feel that salty air in the wind and the ocean moving. And yeah, I live close to the beach, but I don't utilize it as much as I should. So
Maybe you can put that on your to-do list to get a little bit more beach time in.
yes, I'll start a bucket list after this podcast. Bucket list is all in for me.
Yeah, we got the podcast already crossed off, so you're going to go there.
Yeah, first
All right.
podcast.
So if anybody wants to utilize your services, whether it's another agent or an individual buyer that's potentially closing on something, how do they go about getting in touch with you guys if they want to utilize your services?
Absolutely. So I have my contact information on my LinkedIn and my Facebook, and it has my email, which is sconradi@societytitle.com. And then it has my personal phone number, which is 540-664-0238. Essentially, the process, once they get my email, they send over a contract. And from there, I send it to my escrow team, which they're rock stars. We have two in Texas because we do a lot of business in Texas. And then we have one actually in Tampa, Florida. And we use First American and Stewart Title as our underwriters. And Nakia, who is in Tampa, Florida, she actually came from Stewart Title. So she has a lot of background with working with difficult files, complicated files. So I think that's really what builds our team up is the escrow team. I'm the face of the company, but seeing them crushing it, that's what makes repeat customers, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love it. And so when we wrap up, anybody that's watching this somewhere below or around this video in the show notes, you'll be able to get in contact with Shannon. I'll put a link to her LinkedIn page. And I would recommend reaching out if you guys do have any needs like this. They have a significant service area in which they cover. So I have greatly appreciated you coming on. I always find it fascinating to learn a little bit more, not only about yourself, but also about the title industry and other things that have to do with real estate. So I appreciate you. And we'll go ahead and wrap up. That has been another episode of the Northeast Georgia Real Estate Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Northeast Georgia Real Estate Podcast. Now, I need your help, guys. I am working towards an absolutely massive goal for next year of creating new opportunities that will allow me to not only serve my clients better, but help them achieve their commercial real estate goals as well. Key focus for 2025 is going to be for me to acquire 2 additional commercial properties, further expanding my investment portfolio and my impact in our community. This journey will allow me the freedom to spend more quality time with my family, which is the end goal. I'm sharing this in hopes of being able to connect with others who align with this vision. So if that's you, whether it's through partnerships, investing, networking, or new business opportunities, please let's connect and build something together. Thank you.